importance and the significance of this is that, what a blinder of a game Penny Wong has played so far. She's been in the job 10 days as our chief diplomat. She's been twice now to the Pacific. China had built this incredible lunge at the Pacific. 10 nations, it was all carefully planned. Australia appeared to know not much about that. Penny Wong, I think, has largely rescued it, at least for the moment, and she's playing the card of climate change, as you say.
Okay, and so is Penny Wong's visit at the moment purely about signposting to the region and indeed the wider world that Australia is under new management, or is it for China to see that Australia isn't necessarily a pushover in the region, or is it even for Australia, a domestic Australian audience, or could it be a combination of all three?
I think it's trying to salvage one of the worst foreign policy blunders we've seen in this country for many years. We almost lost the Pacific in a sense to Chinese influence. There's a new patrol boat. There's a few things like that in these deals. But I think it's doing two things. It's saying to the Pacific, we're interested in you, we're listening. And secondly, playing the card that this new government has of climate change. Clearly, they want to change direction. The Samoan Prime Minister today has welcomed that.
When you say that Australia almost lost the Pacific to foreign influence, do you think in time there are going to be questions asked about the level of engagement the previous government has had in the region?
Absolutely. I think we should ask them right now. How did this happen? What did the Secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Department know about China's extensive plans for the Pacific? What did the Minister Maurice Payne know and the Prime Minister Scott Morrison? These need to be answered. At the moment, to me, there's no accountability. The government's gone. They now go off to different roles. I think there should be a full Senate inquiry into what we knew when. Of course, sensitive intelligence material can't be brought forward. But how did this happen that the Chinese had planned this massive operation of influence in the Pacific, and yet we were asleep at the wheel? Where's the accountability for the Australian people?
And is there any indication yet that such an inquiry will take place?
No, I think the new government's probably got too much on its plate, and credit to Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese. They're out there, her second trip to the Pacific, Jakarta next week. They're doing all of the right things, but I think that we can't let this happen again. We spend billions in our departments and our intelligence services. Did they not know, or did they know and the government didn't let us know?
And of course, as Penny Wong continues to visit the region, China's Foreign Minister also is continuing his trip. He's in Vanuatu today and is to visit PNG. What is Penny Wong's visit meaning for the Chinese trip?
Well, the Chinese, they won't give up on this. This is just their first shot. They're in for the long haul. They've already made some inroads into the Pacific, and I think Australia has to look at aid, we have to look at our long-term relationships with the Pacific, and we have to now, over the next 10 years, be vigilant about the fact that we've almost lost influence in the Pacific.